Hi, I'm Cameron Bonzi. I am the Vice President of Marketing with Coast to Maine Brands. And I'm here with one of my favorite people of all time, Farmer Steph, who's going to tell us a little bit about seed starting and how you might want to prep for it, calculate what you need. Steph, can you educate me as well as the audience on all this?
Cameron, I just want to say, so glad to be here. I've really missed our dialogues about gardening with our farm friends.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's the first week of March. And as you know, it's that time of year where people like us that love nature and love to get our hands dirty really want to dive into our seeds. But I just wanted to talk to you and all of our farm friends about why you don't want to start too early.
Yeah, and I also love Tractor being here too. He always adds to the moment.
You're so stoic today.
I love Tractor. So, okay, getting back to seeds. Let's start with it's the beginning of March and exactly what you want to tell us.
Okay. So, as you can see, the theme here, your coast of Maine, I'm Farm Table Kids in Maine. So, we grow in zone 5B, which is cold. But for people in New England and for people in zone 5B, you want to set your last frost date. And you want to know when that's going to be so you can have an idea of when you can start putting your plants outside. So if you're going to be growing from your own seed this year, you want to have a really good idea and a calendar to be able to tell you when to plant those specific seeds. Because you're going to start, let's say you want to grow peppers and tomatoes, those start at completely different grow times. One needs like 80 days and the other needs 110. So you're going to start those at very different times. So every seed packet has on the back all the instructions that you need to grow. Wholesale farmers, like people that grow for market, they don't get any special instructions. All the information you need is on the back of seed packet. And then if you go to a reliable source like Johnny's Seeds, you can get a tremendous wealth of tools and information from them as well.
I think that's the key that we've done these seed starting. We've done a few things on seed starting, and being able to do the simple process of looking at the back of the seed packet and looking in the catalog, giving you that information. So I think that's awesome. And then didn't you also want to have a calculator too?
Yeah. So one of the things, so Cameron, one of the things I wanted to mention too is a lot of people like to try growing from seed, but
Yeah.
a lot of people get intimidated by that.
Mhm.
And that's okay too. That's what your local nurseries are for. And guys, I don't you just love going to your local nursery, especially this time of year where they're getting new plants in and everything's starting to come alive and you could just walk in your nursery and like smell soil. Don't you love that?
I love that, and I also love the fact that buy local. All right, go to your
Yeah.
local.
All
They
those people, I'm one of those people that work at those nurseries, and there's so much knowledge in the people that work at your local nursery that if you're looking on Amazon for heat mats, don't do that. Go to your local nursery. They're going to have what you need. You can ask someone questions on exactly the tools that you need to get started. They're not going to oversell you. Like, go to your local nurseries for all your seed starting supplies, but also don't feel overwhelmed. If you don't have time to start seeds because life is crazy, just buy them from your local nursery or your local farms and look that up online. All of that stuff's available to you online, but do buy local during the seed season. It's so important.
and the seed calculator.
Seed calculator is my favorite, Cameron. This is, so every year I print off one of these. By like April, this thing is just covered in notes and highlighters and all different things. Soil stains. So this is a Johnny's seed date calculator. You can print this off if you go to johnnyseeds.com under the growers library. All you do is you enter your spring frost free date
Yep.
specific to your zip code, and then it will tell you exactly when to start the seeds and when to stop planting those seeds based on your frost free date. So that's going to tell you, this is my I don't start a season without this. As you can see, it's nice and fresh and clean. You know why it's nice and fresh and clean, Cameron?
Could you haven't had a chance to attack it yet and write
Well,
on it?
I have not started my seeds yet, man.
Because you're waiting, didn't you?
And that is the point
Yeah.
of this conversation right now. I'm known for my flowers. I'm known for my dahlias, my snapdragons, mostly my sunflowers, and I'm just waiting. You know why? I've been growing from seed for 14 years, and I swear to you, whether you start them now or like 2 or 3 weeks from now, based on what we're talking about, they're all going to come to bloom at the same time. And you're going to have that much less time stressing over trying to keep those baby plants healthy. If you start too early, can I talk about why you don't want to start too early?
Yes, that's exactly what you talk about.
The reason why you don't want to start seeds too early is because they have a lifespan. You're not trying to grow a house plant that you're committing to for 20 years. That's why I don't grow houseplants. You're committing to something that has a specific life cycle that's going to produce fruits or vegetables for you and then die off. You're going to collect its seeds and it's going to continue that way. But the reason why you don't want to start too early is because if you started tomatoes now in March, they would grow and they would reach for the sun and they would reach for the light that you're giving them. They would get really, really tall, 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 tall. And you're like, oh, they're growing. Look, that looks so great. And then they start to fall down because they don't have the support to be able to hold themselves up. And then a plant like that you're keeping alive for 2 months earlier than you really should have to, that's going to be so much more susceptible to disease and illness once you put it in the ground. It also, if you start your seeds too early, they're not going to produce during the time that they're supposed to. Everything, you don't just grow seeds with light. A lot of people think like you give it light and warmth and that's all it needs. It has a whole really complicated life cycle behind it where it also requires certain amounts of refrigeration, so to speak, or a cold period, dormancy, darkness. All of that matters too. So don't start them too early. They might get really leggy, they'll get brittle, they won't come alive at the right time of the season. Just wait.
So we need to know the frost date. We need to be able to use the Johnny's seed calculator.
Mhm.
We need to be patient, right? Like raising kids, we need to be patient.
Yes.
And what else do we need to do?
The other thing with your seed date calculator, the biggest thing here is entering your frost free date. I would love to talk about this because your frost free date, you can go to the farmersalmanac.com, and on Farmer's Almanac, you can enter your zip code and it will give you a frost free date. So I went and did that, and the frost free date for Cumberland, Maine is May 2nd.
Wow.
So, Cameron,
Wow.
what do you think about that?
It seems early.
It's really early. And let me tell you, 2 years ago, we had a hard frost in like 4 inches of snow in Maine. Do you remember that? On like June 2nd. And that's why we had we had not a great apple season that year because a lot of the apple blooms got caught in that snow. Anyway, thank God I didn't put my dahlias out yet. I would have been really, really bummed by that. So I bring that up just to say that a lot of times you look at the information, but don't take it for fact. Also, talk to your local nursery, talk to your local farmers, ask them what they think the frost free date is. My frost free date that I put in there was not May 2nd. My frost free date I put in is May 15th because I know I'm not going to put my sensitive crops like my tomatoes and dahlias out until June 1st. But I want to have them ready to go in case it's really warm and in case we're having an unusual season and I feel confident that I can put my stuff out, then I'll take that risk. But you want to be able to have a little bit of like a 2-week buffer. That's what I factor in for myself. So my frost free date is May 15th. So if I look at my Johnny seed date calculator with a frost free date of May 15th, I am going to go when to start inside. It tells you when to start inside. And if I look on here for February, because February just closed, the only things we're really going to see are eucalyptus, onions, and I get my eucalyptus from Alan Sterling, a local nursery, and because I don't want to deal with their seeds in February. So that's another thing as a grower, like pick and choose, grow for your joy, pick and choose what you want to grow. If something is fussy for you and takes up too much space that you would care to have snapdragons instead, just be mindful of that. So yeah, not a lot of stuff in February, but then once you get to March, so many things to plant in March. So use this as your, I use it as my rule book. This is my map. This is my guide for the season.
That's awesome. And any other tips before we head out? This is Johnny's catalog, always awesome.
And we're not we're not a sponsor of Johnny's or anything like that. We are just a Maine company. Cameron's Maine, Farm Table Kids is Maine. In Maine, we have an incredible, rich agricultural just library of farmers. So I go on Instagram and I email my local farmers. I might ask them on, you can direct message your local farmers wherever you live. And if there's somebody that you follow on Instagram or Facebook and you really love that local farm, reach out to them, tell them they're doing a great job. See if you can buy seedlings from them, because seedlings are an awesome source of income for farmers early in the season when they don't have a lot of other things going. So do try to buy local. I only bring that up because we talk a lot about Johnny's here. It's only because they're awesome and they're a Maine company. Inside these seed catalogs, they have so much growing information, you guys. So if there's something that you want to like focus on, I love growing snapdragons personally. They're fussy. Their seed is the size of dust. You have to start them around now. They're always the first seed that I plant. So I love growing snapdragons. So I'll go to the catalog and just go crazy and read all the information they have on that. And they also have 1-page informational grow sheets you can print off there too. For people growing seeds on your own though, Cameron, for people growing seeds, they've got the seed date calculator. They're going to know when to start the seeds. They're going to go into it with like really happy, positive energy, because it's going to set you up for so much success and joy this season. But the other thing that you want to remember when you plant your seeds, it's so much fun to grow seeds. The only hiccup I've ever run into that has been like severely discouraging that I want to warn people about is called damping off. Yep. And it's when your seedling looks beautiful and it's healthy and it might have like the first true set of leaves just starting to come out. So it's very young. They are healthy and strong one day, and then over the course of the day, the seedling just starts going down. And then if you look at the soil line, you can see the stem is just kind of black and withered right at the soil line. And that's called damping off. And if you see that, that's from like, that can be from bacteria, but what you want to do is always start with clean, trusted soil and always have air circulating on your seedlings. So a lot of people put the domes on the seeds to get them germinated, and that's great. Do that, but as soon as those seeds pop up and you see germination, take that off and put just a gentle fan. You don't want to blast it because they don't have roots established yet. So a fan on the lowest setting, moved back from the plants just to get airflow going over the top of that nice soil, is going to stop damping off. Okay, so airflow is just one of the things people already know about. Lights, they know about heat mats, but I do want to stress that airflow is critical. So do make sure you have a fan.
That's perfect. Enthusiasm, waiting, setting your frost date, looking at a seed catalog, hopefully Johnny's, and being aware of damping off. And then that joy is going to spring forth, right?
Absolutely. And just want to say, Cameron, the Coast of Maine Seed Start Mix is, though, the best to use. And I got to tell you this, I've used all of them. I'm not going to say the names, but I go to my local nurseries and I've tried all of them, and you can just see it in the soil. Like, I get so excited because when they're seeds, they're like, you don't want you don't want to you don't want to lose any seeds. You want to get like a strong germination rate, and you want your season to start off positive. And so, if you like, the worst thing is waiting for a tray of seeds to come up and they don't come up, you know? And I've never had that issue with Costa Made Seed Start Mix ever. It's so great. I just love it. I love the product. Thank you for making it. It's the only thing I use for all of my growing. And you know, we grow all organic for kids. So thank you for making what you do.
Well, thank you for bringing that up. And you know, I am very proud of our staff and what we do, and the way that we do things. I want to remind everybody: buy local. There's so much knowledge in your backyard. Go out and find it. Go out and play outside, and you know, listen to Farmer Steph too. So, thank you for being here, Steph. Thanks for being here. I can't wait to do this again.
Thank you, Cameron.